Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. Eleanor Roosevelt. This training exposes the true causes of the 99% failure rate of internet entrepreneurs and reveals what it really takes to create a wildly profitable online business today. What I'm going to share with you in this video is the result of more than a decade-long journey of running successful internet companies and teaching thousands of others to do the same, generating over $30 million in collective sales, most of that in the last few years. But to be completely transparent, over the last decade, I've also had my fair share of catastrophic business failures, especially in my earlier years of online marketing. It wasn't until the last few years that I was able to uncover exactly what the X factors were that ultimately determined the fate of every single business venture I ever pursued. And what it boiled down to was this. There are 5 major risk factors or problems that I see that when not addressed will ultimately lead to failure. They apply to internet-based businesses, they apply to traditional brick and mortar businesses, or any enterprise that uses the internet to market their business online. Now, as you're watching this, you may come to find that you've not addressed one or more of these problems yourself. And don't worry, I assure you it's completely normal. And in fact, it took me years of trial and error before I was able to uncover these mistakes myself. And then another couple of years of working with other businesses to figure out the solution that would solve them all. And here's the worst part about it. Many of these mistakes are not your fault because nobody talks about the outright lies being perpetuated to serve the self-interests of some of these less than scrupulous promoters of business opportunities out there. Now, I'll admit this was a difficult training to create because I like to keep things upbeat and focus on the solutions versus the problems. But I would be remiss if I neglected this and merely focused on the good, positive stuff. And believe me, it isn't all daisies and sunshine. Had somebody else shared this with me 13 years ago when I was green, wet behind the ears, and a newbie, it would have saved me enormous amounts of time, would have saved me a ton of money, and a whole heck of a lot of hair-pulling frustration. Now, the good news is you don't have to go through the same agonizing years of painstaking research and testing that I went through because I'm going to demystify what it takes to succeed in your own online business today by giving you the shortcut that virtually guarantees to shave months or even years of unnecessary trial and error from your learning curve. Now, I can't stress enough the importance of not just watching this video, but also really just taking the time to do an honest evaluation of your current business if you have one, and also consider your past failures if you've ever failed in the past. Now, I'm sure you're going to find one or more of these mistakes was the culprit. The reason I recommend spending due time on this is because I believe that mistakes can be our greatest teachers if we're willing to truly pay attention to the lessons that they have for us. It's also been my experience that unless these lessons are realized, we're doomed to continue making the same mistakes over and over again. Now, if you haven't ventured into business yet, then this is your opportunity to learn from my mistakes and those of my students, my clients, and friends. You know, it's said that a wise man learns from his mistakes, but the wisest of men learn from the mistakes of others. So, before we dive into the 5 big problems, I really just want to set the stage, so to speak. In the last module, we discussed the difference between strategic entrepreneurs and business opportunity seekers. We shone the light into the dark recesses of the online marketing education industry, exposing the dirty little secrets of the gurus and promoters that they don't want you to know, and how it's to the advantage of these marketers to keep their prospects in a perpetual state of confusion, frustration, and overwhelm, because these are actually beneficial emotions for the marketers who want to sell their so-called solutions. We discussed the fallacy of the gospel of more being preached by many of them and why you don't need more courses, more tactics, more push-button systems. This only leads to more frustration, confusion, and overwhelm. And this emotional state is a catalyst for rabid consumption of more stuff, which ironically is the exact opposite of what is needed. And it's the reason why most would-be entrepreneurs are doomed to chase after the internet lifestyle dream like a dog chasing its tail, a strategy, again, that's designed to keep you stuck, struggling, and throwing good money after bad on often useless and or outdated courses and push-button, get-rich-quick systems. Now, instead of offering the typical superficial antidotes offered by others, we discussed what is really needed to attack this disease at the causal level by addressing the very thing that has been lacking the entire time. And it's an effective strategy. So, Now, we're going to discuss the 5 things you must address to create an effective strategy if you want to make this online marketing thing work for you. Now, the good news is it's not that difficult so long as you have the framework in place for that strategy. And I'm going to give you that framework. You may or may not agree with everything I share. And in fact, I hope you don't just take my word as gospel. Instead, actually put these principles to the test and evaluate the results for yourself. All I can say is what I'm sharing with you here is based on my experience and what I've observed in my over a decade of dedicated study and application of principles that have resulted in high levels of success with me, my coaching clients, and business partners. Now, based on these observations, I've come to the personal conclusion that success is absolutely duplicatable, but only to the extent which one has the ability to really dissect and identify the specific ingredients that have led to past successes and to mix those ingredients in such a way as to create a formula that can be repeated, it can be duplicated and applied over and over again. And the scorecard is always in evaluating the one thing that matters most of all, that is results. Therefore, I can say unequivocally that based on my personal experience, each of these problems is a surefire success killer, and ultimately it's up to each of us to recognize the need for a course correction to ensure we reach our goals and do it faster. Let's get right in. Let's discuss the 5 big problems that stand in our way. And as we run through each of these problems, the goal for you is to begin to recognize the thought processes that strategic entrepreneurs use to get the results that they do. And you'll begin to see some very obvious differences between successful and strategic entrepreneurs versus unsuccessful business opportunity seekers. And you can then start to adopt the same way of thinking and problem solving that the wealthy and successful use to attract the kind of success and abundance that they do. And this is called modeling. It's a powerful way to quickly shift from opportunistic thinking into a more strategic and focused way of being. So let's move right into the big problems that are the true causes of failure so we can create a strategy for you that ensures you will prevail and overcome each of these 5 major problems. Problem number 1, lack of an irresistible offer. Part of your strategy must include how to actually motivate people to buy what you have to offer, meaning you have to have a product or service to sell, get the attention of your perfect prospect, make an offer compelling enough to get them to buy. Now, regarding the product, it can be a product or service you provide or someone else provides. It doesn't matter so long as it's something that actually solves a problem or fulfills a desire. If you don't have anything to sell yet, don't worry, we'll get to that. At the end of the day, the whole purpose for any business to be in existence is to make sales of a valuable product or service and to be able to make a profit. I mean, that's pretty obvious, yet you'd be shocked at how many entrepreneurs get caught up in the meaningless stuff that doesn't even matter and completely neglect this universal law of business. Your first goal in business is to make sales and do so profitably. Everything else is secondary to this. Without profits, you don't have a business. So how do you make sales profitably? Well, it starts with making an offer that's irresistible to whomever you're offering it to. Again, very obvious stuff, yet most entrepreneurs fail because they don't know how to make sales. Consider this for a moment. Experts agree that we're exposed to anywhere from hundreds to even thousands of advertisements on a daily basis. The vast majority of these ads go completely unnoticed and simply blend into the background noise. And even those we do notice barely penetrate our consciousness because our senses are constantly being barraged by ads, so much that we've become immune to their effects. So you're not just competing against others selling similar products and services as you are. You're actually competing for your prospects' very attention. And that means you have to stand out amongst the hundreds or even thousands of other advertisements that they're exposed to every single day. And if you do manage to reach the right prospect and grab their attention with the right offer, then and only then do you have the chance to make an offer. Yet your job still isn't done because now that you have their attention, you have to make your offer more valuable than your competitors. So that's the missing piece that most entrepreneurs don't get right. They don't know how to make irresistible offers that get attention, and or they don't make their offers irresistible to their prospects when they do get their attention, which at the end of the day means no sales. So that begs the question, how can I make my offers irresistible? Well, the answer to standing out from the rest of the noise, getting people's attention, and compelling them to make a decision to buy lies in the marketing itself. While everyone else is doing push marketing and trying to sell, you merely need to infuse value into your actual marketing. Simply put, if you aren't leading with a valuable message, you'll simply fade into the background noise with all of the other advertisers out there. Consider this: every part of your marketing that requires people to take action, be it clicking on an ad, opening an email, or buying your product. And this is important. You'll want to write this down. Every action arises because there is a motivation for taking that action. Everything in marketing is an exchange of value. Think of what brought you here into this coaching program. Okay, you opened an email, or maybe you clicked on an ad because there was an offer for value, and you entered your email in exchange for something that you perceived as valuable. You invested in a product or service because it seemed more valuable than the amount of money that was asked for it. The only way to motivate people to take action is to always lead with value. Opportunity junkies don't get the kind of response marketing pros do because they don't understand the concept of offering value up front, offering value for value. They do what I call value deficit marketing, which isn't marketing at all. Do you want to succeed at this whole online marketing thing? If so, then you must learn how to create irresistible offers by injecting them with value. The perceived value of what you're offering must always outweigh the cost of what you're asking for it, be it a click, be it an email address, or asking for a sale. The value exchange must always be tipped in the favor of your prospect. By the time we're done, you're going to know the simple formula that will allow you to create value-infused offers that get clicks, that get opt-ins, and get sales for you in minutes. And here's the best news of all. If you don't have anything to offer, not to fear, because I've already created over a dozen value-infused offers for you. More on that in a moment. Let's move on to how you can actually find the people who want what you have to offer. Okay, and that's problem number 2. Lack of targeted traffic. Obviously, to make sales, you need qualified prospects for whatever it is you're selling, right? That's why finding the right prospects, those who actually want what you have to offer, is such an important piece of the success puzzle. So many opportunity seekers and newbie entrepreneurs struggle with this, which leads to one or more of the following problems. They never get started advertising because they don't know how. They use what I call scattershot advertising, and they become needy Neds or Nellies. Now let's talk about each of these. Okay, number 1, not getting started. So long as you have a valuable offer for a product or service and a sales system, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, the traffic generation part is actually the easy part. However, when you aren't clear on who your target market is, what problem or problems your solution solves, and you don't have a valuable message or offer for them, or you don't know where to find your ideal prospects to even make the offer in the first place, all of these make the idea of traffic generation pretty daunting, if not seemingly impossible. Okay, lack of clarity then on how to move forward is really what stops many people dead in their tracks. Okay, another common problem when there's no clarity or strategy for reaching your ideal prospect is what I call scattershot advertising. This is one of the biggest mistakes being made online, and it's also the quickest way to burn a hole in your pocket. To catch fish, you have to fish in the right lake, okay, and you have to use the right bait. Likewise, in marketing, you have to get the right message in front of the right market. To maximize results from your marketing efforts, then you need to find a crowd that's hungry for what you have. People who are actively searching for your solution and will beat down your door to get it. The way most people do it instead is they try different tactics without first doing a little strategic market research first. Opportunity junkies try this tactic and that tactic, hoping and praying something will work, that maybe this video marketing product that they're trying will work, or that blogging strategy will work, or the Facebook marketing tactic, or whatever tactic they're excited about in the moment. They think that that will get them the results that they want. The way strategic marketing pros advertise is very strategically and scientifically. They know how to target their best prospects. They know how much each visitor, lead, and customer is worth to them. Okay. Another common mistake that new people make is they mistakenly believe everyone is a prospect. They're desperate for results, and because they don't have a clue as to how to find people who actually want what they have to offer, they approach anyone and everyone. I call this approach the needy Ned or Nelly. Just about every day, I get someone posting some sort of promotion on one of my Facebook pages, typically a get-rich-quick offer or another unsolicited spammy post. And probably once or twice a week, I get someone I don't know messaging me on Facebook, pitching me his or her make money opportunity. This is not how to use social media, by the way. And it's not just limited to Facebook. You'll see these people spamming forums or blog comments, haphazardly, indiscriminately, blasting out their spammy ads anywhere and everywhere. Get in now, it's a ground floor opportunity. So-and-so celebrity just joined this team, don't miss out. I have an embarrassing confession for you. I made many of these same mistakes when I first got started in network marketing. If you've ever been in network marketing, then you've probably heard the gospel of prospecting, such as the 3-foot rule, that everyone within 3 feet is a prospect, or that you simply had to approach enough people and you would succeed. Now, I definitely drank the Kool-Aid myself, believing what I was told by my upline, and I thought everyone was a prospect. I put flyers in car windows. I put sizzle cards in success books in bookstores. I was seriously desperate for results, and all of my fruitless actions reflected that. This is a mindset shift more than anything else, and most needy Neds and Nellies don't realize what they're doing is not only mostly ineffective, but it's downright annoying. They believe what they're doing is marketing, but it's much, much worse than that. I'll tell you this, the age of Bob the pushy car salesman is long gone. And frankly, nobody wants to follow or do business with people like that. Now think about the behavior of successful entrepreneurs. Do they try and push their deal? No way. Marketing pros are never pushy. They use attraction marketing, not repulsion marketing. So if you want to be successful online, doesn't it make sense to do what they do? Of course it does. And shortly, I'm going to reveal how you can sell more without the hype or without being pushy. This is the way to sell more by not selling. It's fun, it's easy, and it's natural. It just feels more relaxed, and people actually appreciate you when you do it this way. So once you know where to find your ideal prospects, how to market to them, and how to get their attention, then what? Well, that brings us to the next big problem: lack of an automated sales system. Okay. So we've discussed the need for a strategy. We've covered actually having an irresistible offer as part of that strategy. If you don't yet have an irresistible offer, don't worry, I've got you covered. Then we discussed the need to find where your ideal prospects are so you can present them with your offer. But what happens next? Well, you have to take them through a process that turns them from a browser into a buyer. And this is done in the online world with a sales system or a sales funnel. However, the problem most entrepreneurs face online is they don't know how to create sales systems that actually make them sales. And for those who are promoting other people's products using their existing quote-unquote turnkey systems, well, let's face it, most business opportunities and cookie-cutter affiliates programs simply suck at converting leads into sales. So all the traffic in the world won't help if that traffic doesn't go through a process whereby they are converted from interested visitor into qualified prospect. And yet I see this all the time where even some large corporations will spend a fortune on generating traffic and send that traffic to a website that doesn't perform the primary function that every business should have, which they must have. And it's this: to turn visitors into prospects and prospects into customers. And the majority of those who are just starting out falsely believe what they have is a traffic problem when in fact it's a sales system problem, which is why a huge number of people are scratching their heads trying to figure out why they aren't making any money. Now, if you want to make any money online, then pay close attention. You must have a marketing system that sifts, sorts, and sells your products and or services for you. Because without one, you can spend yourself broke buying all kinds of traffic, as many do, and not even come close to breaking even. It'll be like throwing mud against the wall, crossing your fingers, praying and hoping that something sticks. Now, I'm sure you'd agree this is not a good business strategy or plan to grow your income. Think about the successful entrepreneur that you want to model. Think about the strategic entrepreneur, the strategic marketing pro. Do they have a system? Of course they do, right? They have a system that takes their visitors and transforms them into leads, building their list, which is their most valuable asset. Then it works for them 24/7 to convert those leads into sales on autopilot. One thing that separates marketing pros from opportunity junkies is having a working system that automates much of the work and gets them results. So doesn't it make sense to do what they're doing? Of course it does, right? This is done by having an effective system that does all of the following for you. Converts visitors into leads to build your list, converts leads into sales by presenting valuable offers, continue following up with your prospects who don't buy, turn one-time buyers into repeat buyers by continuing to present offers, and help solidify those sales and keep customers loyal. There's a very powerful system I'll share with you shortly that does all of this and more. Obviously, I'm talking about Elite Marketing Pro VIP partnership. Now, if you're currently using a sales system of someone else's, you might want to check to make sure it does all of these things that I just mentioned and does them effectively on your behalf. If not, then you'll either want to promote something that does have an effective sales system, like Elite Marketing Pro, for example, or you'll need to create your own sales system yourself to sell whatever it is you're selling, be it your own stuff or somebody else's stuff. And you can, by the way, use our system to promote any product, any opportunity. Now, if that sounds overwhelming or scary, well, I can relate. It's absolutely not easy. But if you want to be successful with an online business, you simply got to have an effective sales system in place. Now, if you want help with that, no problem. Just let your coach know. He or she will be more than happy to share our done-for-you service. This is only for those who want a custom sales system built for a product or service. You can also get the information that you need to do it yourself. Just let your coach know, and they will be more than happy to share with you what you need to do. Now, if on the other hand, you're looking for a way to plug into a ready-to-go sales system that makes you money in an automated fashion, well, that's exactly what you're going to learn about very shortly. Now, let's move on to the next big problem: lack of cash flow. This is one of the biggest problems of all, lack of cash flow. At the end of the day, this is the ultimate goal of every business. We've already discussed that. And so let's say you've solved all of the other problems. Imagine you have a sales system that presents valuable offers and you send targeted visitors through that system, and imagine you're making sales. That should solve the cash flow problem, right? Well, it turns out that's not exactly the case. Every single day, businesses with valuable products and services go out of business. Even some that make consistent sales go out of business. Why is that? Well, it's a matter of economics. Getting people to buy from you is only half the battle. The other half of the battle is actually making a profit. This is an important lesson that one restaurant owner friend of mine learned the hard way. His restaurant had a great menu, it had delicious food, the service was exceptional, and the staff was friendly. The prices were good, cheaper than most of his competitors. There was always a crowd at lunchtime when I'd stop by. He had great referrals and word of mouth. In fact, I probably sent him half a dozen regular customers myself. By all outward appearances, he seemed to have a thriving business. Yet in reality, he was barely scraping by because even though he had a lot of money coming in, he still went under. He made the mistake of making his prices too low. He was paying his staff too much and keeping them on the clock even when it was slow. And the cost of his monthly lease was outrageously high. In short, he forgot about the most important factor of all, the most important thing of all, economics. And without positive cash flow, a business will eventually have to close its doors. This goes for any type of business, online or offline. So if you're spending time and or money to build a business and you're not making a profit, then it's just not something that you can continue doing indefinitely. And the reality is, most entrepreneurs never figure out how to create enough cash flow, so they eventually end up quitting. It all comes down to creating cash flow by making sales profitably. And here's the truth. Creating positive cash flow is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight, and it does take actual work. There, I said it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of hype and BS out there leading people to believe that getting rich online is fast and it's easy. And most people who don't have realistic expectations about what it really takes to succeed online eventually quit when they realize this truth. The truth is, there are no magic bullets. There are no push-button solutions. They simply do not exist. However, the good news is there are proven shortcuts to building a business and a big income fast. But, and this is a big but, you're not going to do it quickly by building a huge downline in, say, a network marketing company, because that takes a long time and a lot of hard work. It can be done, but if that's the path you want to go down, it's important to be realistic and understand that that's a long-term income strategy. And you're not going to make that kind of money by selling $37 ebooks or $50 widgets, because you'd have to sell thousands of them per month to make any kind of real money. That's why I'm declaring a war on small profit margins and meager commission checks. There's only one way to quickly start earning money fast online. Here's a little hint. This is done with high value transactions. And when I figured this out back in 2004 or 2003, my income went from a few $1,000s per month to multiple six figures in a matter of months. And you'll learn about this shortly. Again, I talked about it a little bit previously, but the best part about the strategy for offering premium value products and services is it won't interfere with anything else you might be selling right now or in the future. If you already have a product, a service, or an opportunity, that's great. Let us accelerate your income to help you fund your existing business. Don't have a business yet? No problem. I'm going to show you how you can create a six-figure income in your first year online. Before we do, though, let's talk about the final problem: lack of a mentor or coach. In my many years in this business, I've never met a single successful person who has created a thriving business all by themselves. To start a business, you need support, you need the right training, and you need help when you get stuck. Besides, one of the fastest ways to grow your income is to surround yourself with other like-minded people who already are achieving or aspiring to achieve more success. Think about the successful person you picked earlier when we talked about modeling. Okay, do you think that they surround themselves with unsuccessful people, or do you think they have a powerful, influential leader in their life or people in their inner circle? Obviously, they surround themselves with other successful people. And so doesn't it make sense to do what they do? Of course it does, which is why you're smart to be here in this coaching program. Now, one objection I get when it comes to coaching is, yeah, but coaching costs money, and I can probably just figure this out myself. Now, if you recall in the last module, we went in the difference between a wealthy mindset and a poverty mindset. We talked about this also in module 1. One of the important pieces of the success puzzle is understanding what I call the hidden cost of free. It's a well-known fact that you always get what you pay for, yet some people insist on getting as much as they can for free. They'll spend hours, days, weeks, and months spinning their wheels, searching for answers in online forums, downloading free reports, and constantly sifting through free information to extract success without ever investing anything. Let me share a little secret with you. Marketing pros know that free is the most expensive four-letter word in the English language. Successful people always pay top dollar to get the best advice when it comes to business and financial affairs, which is why they're successful. While a struggling vast majority are always looking for freebies, they have no value for their own time, and they squander away their lives thinking they can figure it out on their own for free. They don't know what the hidden cost of free is, and it's the one resource that they'll never get back: their time. Here's a profound truth for you. Poor people focus on clinging to the money they have or spending it on stuff they don't need, while wealthy, successful people focus on compressing time and are willing to invest in doing so. If you want a shortcut to increasing your value and making more money, it's investing in yourself. There is no other way, and you can never sell anything if you don't believe enough to invest in your biggest asset, which we've already talked about is you, your intellectual capital. That's why when I got started, I scraped together every last penny I had and then some to go get the help and coaching that I needed to break through. And today I still regularly invest in my own education. I have coaches, I have mentors. So coaching is absolutely essential if you want to be successful in business. So there you have it, the 5 big problems that are the only barriers standing in the way of your success. The first step is to recognize which of these obstacles are hindering you from having the business of your dreams, and then we can move forward together and overcome each of them. And here's the good news. It doesn't need to take months of hair-pulling frustration. In fact, I'm going to reveal the very simple, proven processes that will allow you to quickly, almost instantly, in fact, get on the fast track to making more money, more wealth, and more freedom. This is the same path that every marketing pro has followed, and I'm going to show you how you can do it in less time, without the pain, without having to be an expert before you start getting results. I'll reveal this in the next video, so go ahead, click on the play button on the video below, and we'll get started.